Explained by the Billy Meier contacts. Mysteries, myths, legends, conspiracy theories, historical inaccuracies, and more. Compiled by David Chance, revised October 18, 2023.
Cleopatra. Contact Report 496.
Do you know the name of the mother of Queen Cleopatra VII of Egypt, the Great? To my knowledge, the real name of Cleopatra's mother is still a mystery.
Her name was Phtia, and she came from a Macedonian family.
Contact Report 521.
In FIGU Special Bulletin Number 10 of February 1997, I wrote the following. Discovery of Cleopatra's Palace, Alexandria, Egypt, in September 1996. Divers made a sensational find in the harbor basin of Alexandria. They discovered the remains of the 2,000-year-old palace of the legendary Egyptian Queen Cleopatra. Everything is said to be lavish, incredibly luxurious and colorful in relation to the treasures found at a depth of 7 meters. Numerous obelisks, columns, statues, amphorae, and remains of walls have also been discovered. Cleopatra's palace was without doubt also the refuge and sanctuary of her husband Mark Antony. Alexandria was founded in 331 BC and went down in history because of the love affairs between Cleopatra and the Roman generals Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. The Egyptian lived a life of luxury in Rome for 2 years before Julius Caesar was murdered in 44 BC. Mark Antonius fell for the charms of Cleopatra 3 years after Caesar's death. In the year 31 BC, Cleopatra killed herself with snake poison when Mark Antonius lost the Battle of Actium against Octavian. After a strong earthquake and a subsequent huge tidal wave, the royal palaces sank into the Mediterranean Sea. Before I wrote that Cleopatra killed herself with snake poison, I asked you if this was really so. But now, an American, a profiler named Pat Brown, is coming to claim that this was not the case and that Plutarch had passed on everything wrong. What can you say to this?
Cleopatra the Great was the 7th Egyptian queen of that name and ascended the throne at the age of 18 in 51 B. Emmanuel note Billy, alias Christ. Cleopatra's father and mother were siblings, so if she was an incest child, she quickly became aware of the power. When she came to the throne, she knew how to use her power to the full. Also, towards her brother, Ptolemaeus VIII, with whom she reigned together, but who soon expelled her, but died already 47 years B. Emmanuel, and this by force, as our records show. After the expulsion, Cleopatra turned to the Roman Caesar for help, who returned her rule after heavy fighting after the Alexandrian War. From 46-44 B. Emmanuel, she lived in Rome, had with Emperor Caesar a son named Caesarion, who was born in 47 B. Emmanuel. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra returned to Egypt, where she elevated her son to co-regent. When a civil war broke out in 43-42, she remained wisely neutral and renounced her exercise of power for the time being. Then she won in 41 B. Emmanuel the Roman Antonius for herself, with whom she entered into a marriage and remained united with him until her death. Antonius encouraged her desire for power, also in relation to giving the dynasty in Egypt new power and new splendor. When Octavianus, later to become Emperor Augustus, appeared in Rome, Cleopatra was declared an enemy of Rome because there were clauses in Antony's will, which Octavianus published, that favored Cleopatra's children. This led to Rome declaring war on Cleopatra. Thus, the battle that was waged against Antonius was officially considered a battle against Cleopatra. When in 31 B, Emmanuel the Battle of Actium was lost, Antonius and Cleopatra fled to Egypt and killed themselves in 30 B. Emmanuel. Cleopatra killed herself with snake poison, which she poured into a deep wound on her arm, which she had a servant inflict on her, and with other poison, which she ingested by drinking a prepared cup of poison, which was also mixed and served to her by a servant. In truth, she could not cope with defeat in her obsession with power, so she judged herself, as many power-obsessed people have done since ancient times, when they suffered defeats and lost their power.
A cowardly escape from responsibility, as was also the case with Hitler and others. But tell me, do you know anything about why she threw herself at the men, like Caesar and Antony? Was it really just to help them, to get back their power and to be able to exercise it?
Cleopatra was not only obsessed with power, she was also an unscrupulous paramour, for Caesar and Antony were only her main lovers, who were her means to an end.
Color values, color symbolism, color psychology. Contact Report 055.
Can you tell me the exact values of colors? Blue 7-1. Truth, love, might, knowledge. Deference, creational volition. Wisdom, fulfillment, creating power, protection. Rose 1-3. Belief, irrationality, destruction, veneration, ignorance, resentment, worship, falsehood, vice, confusion, lie, violet 2-7. Belief, charity, demolition, veneration, compassion, transformation, praise, destruction, freedom, worship, falsehood, green 3-5. Concentration, rationality, development of power. Consecration, understanding, application of power. Healing, knowledge, recognition, truth, wisdom, red gold 4-6. Peace, dedication, being free, love, healing, becoming, equalization, harmony, transformation, grace, equality, gold 5-2. Perception, evaluation, judgment, vision, assessment, wisdom, interpretation, gathering ability, acquisition, application, white 6-4. Talent, creative, forming, purity, harmony, idea, execution, gemüt. Ascension, completion, consciousness, unfeigned. These are the color values, ordered according to the level of consciousness. The values are also valid for the color radiation of each life form, whereby it can be classified very precisely in its values of its level of consciousness. So this would practically be another way of determining the level of consciousness as you have taught it to me today?
In a sense, yes, but the color values also refer to the life forms that cannot be calculated.
Oh, well, then this means an extension in recognition.
That is so.
Contact Report 085.
Through my daughter, I learned that when you approached Mr. Glanzmann, you observed a violet aura color on him, which should have warned you.
You may want to say that I know that the violet color is one of the lowest developmental levels, so I should have paid attention to it.
Yes, that is so. You know that the violet color is indeed a very low level of evolution, and that only faith in something wrong can cause this aura-based coloring. You also know that various false teachings claim that this color protects against negative force fields, swinging waves, and other influences of negative form. You know very well how erroneous this is, and that you have already had several bad experiences with regard to various violet rays, for example in the ultraviolet range, etc.